Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the A3U Review.
Today we'll be taking a look at the FansProject Function X-04 Sigma L.
And we'll also be doing a spotlight on the Takara Optimus Prime transforming pen.
I'm your host, Boris.
And I'm Alex, and you're watching the A3U Review. So what we have right here in front of us is the FansProject Sigma L figure, and it looks good.
Yeah, it's part of the Function X series.
As my first impression, the detail looks great. The colors are great. What I find a little bit, I guess, puts me off a little bit is that you have this thing that sticks out of from the front of his chest, and then when you look in the back, it's hollow here.
Yeah, so
I always felt that was a little bit funny looking, but you know, I get why it does that. I mean, especially when you transform it, it looks like that for functional purposes.
It definitely is offset by a lot of other features.
Yeah.
The wings are really awesome.
The wings are beautiful.
The articulation is great, so you can really create some really cool dynamic poses.
Yeah.
The only thing that I think is slight downside is the arm here is held by this ball joint here. So for me, it's hard to, other than like lifting up the wing here, it's hard to like distribute it, the weight a bit.
Yeah.
So sometimes in a more, dynamic pose, you'll find that the shoulder drops down a lot of the times. Yeah. Without, if you don't do like, this kind of like lifting of the wing here.
It's almost like you have to compensate for it.
Yeah, you kind of have to. But I don't actually like it so much when it's kind of open here and you got this huge gap here. Yeah, when it's too aggressive, that gap is really big. Yeah. Using it kind of like subtly is nice because it really gives that extra dimension to it. Love all these like clear green pieces.
Yeah, nice touch.
I like the dual tone weapons.
These look beautiful. I mean, they look like really good looking shotguns.
Yeah, and then you notice the articulation on this too, right, Al? It's like the actual gun itself swivels.
Ah, okay, that's cool.
So it kind of gives it a little bit more dimension. Yeah. The thing I was a little bit disappointed was the hand has no articulation. It's just fixed like that. I mean, it's a nice looking hand. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. It would have definitely added some extra dimension to it if the hand could actually wrap around it.
You guys know this is part of the Function X line, so that means that the head can do something very special. So let's take a look at the head. So what we have in front of us is the Sigma L head. And I think this might look familiar to some other people because the format or the configuration of the way this head figure is very similar or almost identical to the previous Function X heads.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's definitely got some similarities, like how the transformation of the little visor and everything goes. It's very much like the Smart Robin, whatnot. And
the Smart Robin.
Yeah, but there's definitely some differences in terms of detail.
Yeah, you can tell that like these are parts of his head, right? Like various parts.
Totally, and I believe the face sculpt is slightly different in terms of paint application and a few other design cues. These are little gimmicks that somehow, rope me in. It's silly, but it's really cool. I like it.
Well, let's take a look at his alt mode. Here is the beast mode for the Sigma L, and he looks like a bat.
Although it's not as smooth as the rest of the Function X, there's a cockpit in there. Yeah. And that's where we have the little head robot hiding. But it's gotta like take him apart sort of to like. And
it opens up like this, like that.
Yeah, and it's
a little different. It's definitely not what we expected.
Yeah, because the other one's like chrome dome, all that.
Yeah, you just open it up. Yeah, it's like a regular canopy.
Yeah, sorry, I should say Function X1, not chrome dome. But yeah, it basically opens up and you can actually sit in it. Otherwise, it's pretty cool.
But one thing I gotta say is that even though I like the wings and I like the fact that it did its best in turning itself into a bat, it still looks weird. I mean, basically, this is a big square here. I like the robot mode more. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, definitely. I think for me too, I definitely like the robot mode better than this.
Yeah.
But I mean, they've again done a really great job with articulation.
Yeah,
The feet, really articulate just like when it's in robot mode as well. Everything does tuck in quite nicely. Like they've actually thought about things. Like there's actual grooves for where these you know, when he's in robot mode, those are his hands. So I thought things like that were great cues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's give this guy a rating. For aesthetic, I am going with an 8. I think he looks good in a robot mode. I think the proportions are a little bit off in the beast mode, but the colors and the details still make it look really, really good.
8 for me as well. Wasn't perfect, but on the whole, the aesthetic really hit it for me.
Playability, I'm gonna go with a 7. It's got a lot of tight joints, which really helps for making some really cool poses. Sure, the ball joint in the shoulder could, you know, do some work, but still, I think a lot of it, you know, it just poses really well, thus making it very, very playable.
I gave it an 8. Articulation was really great, so you could have a lot of great dynamic poses for it. One thing we didn't show in the robot mode really was the awesome articulation in the feet, which really give it some good grounding so that you can do some of those more aggressive poses.
For innovation, I'm going with a 9. From you know, its robot mode to its bat mode, the transformation was very, you know, it was very unique, and I think they really put a lot of thought into this figure as a whole.
I gave it an 8. It's innovative in the fact that how it transforms, and also how everything stores. You know, from the hands to the robot to the guns.
My overall score is an 8.
And so is mine, an 8.
This figure, the Sigma L, would be a great addition to your Function X line.
Yeah, absolutely. You cannot leave this one out if you already have the other 3.
That's right. And that is our review for the Sigma L from FansProject's Function X series.
So next up, we have the Sentinel Transformer Optimus Prime pen. This is actually a licensed product from Takara, and it transforms into a weird little pen. But the actual robot mode looks really good. So this is the packaging, pretty standard.
Yeah,
window packaging. So let's take a look at him outside of the box.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah, he's actually really, really cool in robot mode. It's done really, really well considering it's, you know, what it's gonna turn into. You know, the articulation's not bad. The knees and like we can do some.
It's kind of like a Revoltech with all those ball joints there.
Yeah, you can do some like really cool poses. I mean, of course, Revoltech has its own like ball joint system and everything. This doesn't, but I mean, you can do quite a bit with it. Even the feet. They have some good articulation in it.
Yeah.
If you're a big fan of Optimus and you want something to play with, when, you know, on your break, or you need a, you know, an eye break from the computer, I like this. It's kind of like
just play around with it.
Yeah, it's kind of like, remember the device label stuff?
Yeah.
You know, the USB,
the mouse.
Keys. Yeah, I mean, they weren't super practical, but at the same time, it was always awesome to be at work and, you know, transform Ravage. And people would be like, what? And then transform the mouse and they'd be like, wow, that doesn't look like Grimlock. But it's Grimlock.
Yeah, I mean, it's super gimmicky, but it's just something that you gotta have.
That's right, and the blaster with the USB hub was cool too.
Yeah.
And actually that one looks great in robot mode. I really like Blaster.
And speaking of what looks great in robot mode, he looks great in robot mode. He's so proportionate, and even for like a small size transformer, he looks good. I mean, a lot of times when you have like something that's too big or too small, the proportions aren't well. This is perfectly sized.
Yeah, definitely. Wanna
get him in pen mode?
Yeah, look at the weird pen.
Okay, let's do that. So here is the Optimus Prime pen transformed into a pen, and as you can see, it is a funny looking pen.
They basically just took the robot and straightened him out.
Yeah, the arms just go like this, the feet just put together, and they just basically elongated him, and then now he's a pen.
It's not the most comfortable pen to write with. I'm not sure what you would be doing with this pen other than signing checks, maybe.
Yeah.
Stuff you do very little with.
Yeah.
Because if you notice at the front here, this that's the actual pen.
That's the actual pen.
But if you recognize this piece here, it's actually from his gun.
It's his gun. Look at that.
Yeah.
There we go. See?
You see that it's his gun, which I thought was pretty cool. They they worked the pen into the gun.
I mean, as a robot, it's good. As a pen, it's gimmicky. It's something that you use to show off. You know, when you have friends over, and then you say, hey guys, check this out. And then they'll all say, that's cool. But then you're not gonna really write with this thing.
Yeah, it was like back when the Transformer watch.
Yeah, that's right.
Cool little things. And again, like the device label. But I mean, all in all, I actually think this is a really great product.
I think it's a cool product.
Yeah, it's very cool. The pen actually writes really well. It's got this like nice soft kind of feel to it. Yeah. And it's very smooth. Yeah. Right? We just don't know how long it's gonna last. Yeah, unfortunately. And I don't think Takara has extra Optimus guns for replacement ink. No ink refills for this guy, so just remember that. It is a little bit pricier on the outset when you think about it, but when you actually play around with it, you realize that, hey, it's not just paying 60 bucks for a pen, it's paying 60 bucks for something cool and bragging rights that my pen can transform into Optimus Prime. Yeah. So I definitely recommend this. There's a black version out as well. Yeah. If you don't like the regular Prime, then Nemesis Prime looks really nice. Alrighty, and that is our little spotlight on the Optimus Prime pen from Takara. And that's our episode for today. We hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for next time when we'll be looking at some Age of Extinction toys like AD-17 Soundwave, as well as the movie Advanced Devastator. As always, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, Ages3 and Up, and also follow us on Twitter at Ages3 and Up. We'll see you next time. See you next time. Bye.